a West Indian. What the hell is wrong with you?
See, look, wait. I want to start right there. Which we should have started when he first opened up. Because when he first opened up, he started talking about they called Yaqub the mythology of Elijah. You're going to hear him say that. Watch, we going to go into it. But that's where it started. But when he said, you call yourself West Indian, and I remember when it just made me go into our memories of, you hear our people say, they'll use the nationality. He said the West Indies, but they'll use the nationality that has been labeled by the UN under whatever banner they're using that they're calling a flag. And whatever government in that particular geographical location, it's still recognized based on the UN. Because they'll say you're not a country if the UN doesn't recognize you, or those governments come together and say, okay, we recognize you. But the territory changed as time changed. So you could get a quick look at the territorial changes from Ottoman Empire, and then it goes into the Europeans from before World War II, those Europeans, and the Europeans before World War I, when they were having their wars. And then prior to that, you go, in England, and then before England, the Dutch, and then, they keep going back, whichever one of the European colonizers has the most power in Europe is setting the precedent and telling everybody. They like to name things. So they start naming areas, people, everything. It also made me think of Queen Nzinga, when she fought the Portuguese. Somebody did a story, a documentary on it, or some kind of video or movie on it. But it's about what really happened, and you see them talking and also showing the drama part of it, right? So that little clip I saw of it was very good, I would say. Look at that. But let me let Farrakhan talk.
Well, Yaqub was a mythology of Elijah Muhammad. Well, is the white man a myth or is he real?
See, he said that. So now I just wanted to say this. Now, you know how I roll. I always said the wisdom build or destroy degrees of actual fact and a solar fact. I take it right there. Because when you just do regular from university paleontology, archaeology, and then if you study the rocks of Earth, makes me think of Toph, become an earth bender. Do that. Check that earth out. And then you start to realize that he's telling you a warped story of the history of the planet based on what you can see in the ground. For layman terms, you go into the archaeological sites and the museums, and the evidence is what you find. Let the evidence lead you to the place where you want to go or don't want to go. But the evidence should lead you, not you lead the evidence. He has a tendency to rewrite the evidence to suit his ideology, whichever it is. The colonizer does this. We're pretty much.
Well, how in the hell can his maker be a myth if the white man ain't a myth? Where did the white man come from? You say, well, he was in the beginning with God. Well, how come? He don't know.
Now, see, I wanted to point this out too, is that when he's using the term that he uses, that's the term that everybody uses to understand the people with pink nipples, who they are. So they classified everybody that way. But like great scholars and teachers in the Pan-African movement said, there was no such thing as race before the European introduced it to the planet Earth. Prior to him making up Negroid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid, that did not exist. So that is a colonizer's concept that leads itself right back into supremacy and how he feels he's superior to all the other people on the planet Earth.
Nothing about the beginning. If he was in the beginning with God, how come he's discovering things just a few years ago, what the ancient people knew existed for thousands of years? Talk to me. If he was in the beginning, how come he's not a native?
See, look, I remember when we were doing the knowledge to Rome, and we got down to the point where we got to the suckling by the wolves, the twins, Romulus and Remus. And then when you go beyond that point, the people the natives of that area, the Etruscans, they're not pink nipple, they're lamb wool. That's what I'm talking about. So you're not native there either. I remember scholars saying he's not even native to Europe. So what is he native to on Earth?
Of nowhere on the earth, you don't find a white man calling himself a native. Because he's not natural to Africa. He went there. He's not natural to Asia. He went there. He's not natural to the Middle East. He was sent there. He's not natural to North America or South America. He discovered this.
Now see, look, that shows you right there. That's that going, finally traveling the planet. But there's pyramids all over this planet. Everywhere that we have been, the pyramids are there. And everywhere those pyramids are, they have found so many artifacts at such a level that you can't even think about it in your head, that show and prove we are the original people. If you read the book by J.A. Rogers called From Superman to Man, he kills them on the train. Kills them. And J.A. Rogers always tells you where the museums are and where the European took the artifact from and took it to his museum. He liked to do that. Some stuff he hides, some stuff he mutilates, some stuff he fake casts it and does stuff like that, right? So it's no end to the truth and falsehood strangely mixed, as the prophet would say.
But when he discovered somebody already here, didn't he? And he was so proud. He discovered it. He was looking for India, and he discovered Hispaniola and said, "Oh, well, this is the West Indies."
Right, now watch.
And then you come up saying, "I am a West Indian."
See, now that's the part I wanted to get to. And so now, and we come up and say, "Oh, I'm a Cuban. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm from South America or one of those countries that you say that. I'm from America. I'm an American, right? I'm Mexican. I'm Nicaraguan. I'm Panamanian. One of the here Drake talk about he's from Canada. He's a Canadian, right? Lamar, he's from Cali. He's Oakland, right? We identify with that like that in that way. Now with knowledge of self, we rename the territories. See what I'm saying? So you do it within this knowledge of self. That's why they were giving you different vocabulary to use. The vocabulary of knowledge of self is not the same as the vocabulary of unconsciousness. When you don't know and understand, we say that vocabulary, the words that you use to express your thoughts, how are you using them when you have a concept of who you are that is twisted and perverted? Malcolm said it. Who made you hate your features? Who made you hate the shade of your skin? Who made you hate your hair, your eyes? Who made you hate the way your body is, right? Who made you eat the food that your ancestors did not eat? Who made you take on the names that your ancestors never carried? That's what I'm talking about. Divine understanding, born of law. You know how we do it. Set the record straight. Ancient order, free Asiatic, son of man, 7. 211 gods is teaching that the first degree in the 1 to 10 is right and exact. Right? If that's the whole manifestation within itself, showing and proving really all of 120 is who is the original man. Right? So when you're looking at who is the original man, just go right to J.A. Rogers, get Sex and Races, Volume 1, 2, and 3. Go get Message to the Black Man by Elijah Muhammad. Get, I started adding Clyde Winters to the study group because he has that point of view. And then you have Elijah's point of view, and you have J.A. Rogers' point of view, and then you can get Noble Drew Ali's point of view, and you can see W.D. Farrad's point of view, and you see Allah's point of view, the Father, right? You'll see his point of view. You could cross-reference with the first degree in the 1 to 40, so you cross-reference Bible, Quran, and then I know you get you one of them Jerusalem Bibles, or you get the Ethiopian Bible, or you get the Jerusalem Bible, and you add the other ones, the Apocryphas, and the books that's missing, because they took all kind of stuff out, and you research better than you do when you under the Europeans, colonizers' ideology of what you should be and not be when you under his Christian faith. Because you can either be under his way and do the lazy way and go with his route and end up with Luamong at the end of the day. Or, those who know. You'll end up with Luamong if you roll with the European. That is a fact. You can't change that. But you don't know it because no one never died and came back and told the living whether they lied or not. All right, so we have to go with the ancestors. The reason why I go with what the ancestors say in the ancient books and in tablets and things of that nature is because the European is always lying when it comes to him telling me about my history. I can't believe nothing he says because he's always talking derogatory and condescending and mixing lies and truthhood falsely mixed with more lies and cover-ups. And it gets to the point where murder is in play and subjugation and things of that nature is part of keeping you from knowing and being the master of your own destiny. Once he got you hating lamb's wool, he pretty much got a grip on you because you don't like lamb's wool. Meaning, the next thing you're gonna hate is nose. You're not gonna like your nose. So lamb's wool and nose go together, and shade of skin, and they're kind of interchangeable. All three of them are working together like knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? And that's why your culture gets ruined. You be having his culture, not yours. So how you gonna be free? There's no way you gonna go into no freedom if you using his culture. You have to use the culture I guard or something that's aiming that way, or is that in because it's 99 and there's 120 and then there's the 360s, and so 360 could be in 120 form, it could be in 33 forms, it could be in the 99 attribute form. It could, see what I'm saying? So they'll try to limit you to what form it's in so they can keep you with them. The lazy people don't want to do the leg work, the extra mile, so that the youth can take it to the next level, right? The youth got to go up. So they definitely have to stop helping the colonizer kill ourselves. So that's why if you do the opening on knowledge itself, it always start off with that 3-day fast. And then it changes your food, because if you change your food, you change everything. Food mentally and physically. It can't be just one. You have to do both. And in these modern days, you have to really step your game up, because he is not playing when it comes to you not knowing anything and him knowing a whole lot. And you don't know what's going on because you're too busy dancing and singing and getting right and having a good time, living behind the perimeter, because you're in Rome, but outside of Rome, there's the Goths are coming from that side. So that's still going on now, right? The Roman soldiers, you see them in blue. They not the Roman soldiers? Oh yes, they are. Think they not. The Roman soldiers, and they're the Roman soldiers, and they're also, see, it's not just one thing. There'll be the race soldiers too. They got those too. The race soldiers. And then they have those little elite units and shit like that, because there's no way that the colonizer, see, that when you say the colonizer, the other people who are related to the colonizer in the fashion that they have pink nipples too, they don't want their rulers to not be in rulership position. The lowest of the pink nipples still wants the pink nipples to run the world, and he don't run it right. We see he don't run it right. That's why people would have been all right with you running it, Mr. Pink Nipple. But you don't run it right. You always trying to do something that seems to be on the side of the devil and not God. And whatever your concept of the devil is, or things that are not right and not good for fallen humanity, it's not good for us. We don't like, the Asiatics and the humans really don't like what you're doing, right? They don't. The animals, the fauna, the earth, Mother Gaia, she doesn't like you. You're not nice. You do things that aren't nice. And if people challenge your authority, you attack them just because they said, I don't want to be a slave. You're not going to rule me. I'm on my own square. I want to do this. So you make rules and regulations that are not part of the world and the universe. because we live on Earth, but we inside of a solar system. And it's inside of a galaxy, and the galaxy's in space. And so there's other galaxies, and we can see that with our own telescope. Hell, we don't even need a telescope. We can see it. So I'm back into talking to us again, right? And so I told them I'd just be saying that because they'll be trying to act like, well, in their defense of you saying Yakub and all that, they'll be trying to zero in on a key point to try to throw the whole story off. But you have mythology in your world all day long and a whole bunch of stolen mythology on top of it. And you got the people all confused thinking that theology and metaphysics and science that you teach is right and exact. And that all the other ancient cultures, and we'll just use regular words for everybody. So you say, we'll start with our thumb and say black and go around, brown, red, yellow, white. All right. And so I figure that's pretty much all the colors everybody uses nowadays in these modern terms. So mostly black would be considered the people with the lamb's wool. And then when they all get together and be afraid of the UN's stigma that they put on the so-called African American or the black people in the 50 states, they want to say they not that. That's why they were saying, I'm not black, I know black, because they don't want to be 50 state lamb wool. They were, I'm Dominican, I be Cuban, I be whatever the fuck they say they are. You know, I'm Guyanese, I'm West Indian, I'm this, I'm that, right? But when the European look and see an armadillo, the African brother, right? They shot the 41 times in him. I may have said his name wrong, my bad. He had lamb's wool and he was knowledge seed. They didn't have a problem. Knowledge seed, he was what they would consider a black man with lamb's wool in the Bronx. And they didn't see the difference between him and all the other lamb's wool people between the 30th parallel north and 30th south, Tropica Capricorn and Tropica Cancer in the equator, those original people that started there, he doesn't see a difference when you somewhere else, when he's looking at you visually. Of course, if he sees you, I could tell right away if you're a knowledge seed and you're from East India and you really are an East Indian, for lack of a better way of saying their real name. I don't know all their real names, but they have real names that they had called themselves before England came. So, but they have the real dark brothers there and sisters, but their hair is straighter than ours, and they're a knowledge seed. And in this lesson, it say in the black man body there exists two germs, a black germ and a brown germ. See what I'm saying? And so you can look at that and see that. That's why it talks in that language. That's why they said, give them the 120 the way you received it, because that language and that ideology and that teaching and that truth will change the convolutions on the physical brain. And so you take them out of the realm of slavery. See, they'll make you think that the 50 states is the only ones that got a slave mentality, but you'll see slave mentality from Alaska to Chile, right? I haven't been all over the place in Africa, and I wouldn't pretend to know if they're totally free from the European, but I would say that they have a chance to change everything today, the way they're moving. If they was to turn the countries of Africa into like the United States of America and make it the United States of Africa. If they do that, because nobody is our friend. I'm not thinking Russia's our friend, China is our friend, Europe is our friend, America is our friend. I don't think none of them are our friend if you got lamb's wool. I think that if lamb wool wants friends, lamb wool have to be friends with itself first. Before anybody's going to be friends with you, you're not friends with yourself. You don't like your hair. You don't like it. Everywhere I go and look, and they always trying to make they think they're not dressed up if their hair don't look like the colonizer. How could you think that you like it? You don't like it. You hate it. You'd rather walk outside with a bad wig than walk outside with your hair naturally how you woke up with it. You'd rather put on they raggedy shit and walk around looking like you right and exact, but you not. You looking crazy. When they go in time and they look back on how y'all dress nowadays, and I say y'all because we didn't do that nuffalufficus look. We had the afro, black power, we had braids, we did all that. You watch how we was rolling all the way up to the 90s. Hip hop had it like it's a revolution. We coming up out of this. We might live in the ghetto, but the ghetto don't live in us. We was moving that way. We was getting trades, professions. We came here to stop crime. We turned gangs into the knowledge of self, and they all become the culture. No matter what banger they was, you could add mathematics to your mathematical equation, and you'll come out with the correct what answer. You see it. They got that dude, I don't know what his name is really. I can't remember his name, but he a Crip, and he got the lessons, and he be talking to his people. That's how it's like a virus. It's inside the culture now. It's in the creed, but the 85 part of us is fucking killing our shit. It won't let go of the devil. If the 85 part of us let go of the devil, and if the 5% part of all of us stop bickering amongst each other over bullshit sees on how we all see our different degrees and all that craziness that we be doing. Yeah, I'm a victim of it too. We all did it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But I'm saying we need to stop that. That's not productive. All we doing is biting at each other and still not getting shit done. We getting shit done? Oh, individually we great. I could call out names. Right? I could get on the horn right now and say, yo, Pure, let's run right quick trip to the pyramids so we could look at this site I wanted to show you. And we could do that and we wouldn't feel it. Like we'd just go do that. So that's where we want our people at the level where it doesn't hurt their economic situation. So if they want to go and see things to change their convolutions in their brain, but if they're so caught up in popping bottles, they don't even think they want to go out at night, not in the daytime. Their mind is not thinking that way. Like you don't go to excavation sites so much at night. You get there in the daytime so you can see. So you could what? See. It's not that they can't read. It's they can't see. Well, the other one was he could not see the board. It's not that he couldn't see the board. He couldn't read. And the other one is not that they couldn't read. They couldn't see. See, it might be a version. They might just need to move closer. This one just need to learn the fundamentals of the mathematics with alphabet. You can't read well if you don't know your consonants and your vowels. You have to start there. That's why Allah gave you A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You see what I'm saying? That's why you know there's only 26 letters in the American alphabet. When I was overseas, right, I remember they didn't say you speak English. They said, you speak American. That's what they would say. Only here you be talking about, because you hear the Europeans say, speak English. That, and his English isn't proper and all that. But English started in England pretty much pretty much it starts there. It is derived from Anglo-Saxon, Dutch, German. It's derived from that and Latin, but it's still them. That's not you. See what I'm saying? So you have to really love you and yours and what you do Listen to Malcolm. He said it. You don't like your hair. I think that's kind of like the root to it. You don't like your hair. And since you don't like your hair, you can't like your nose. Then you ain't gonna like your lips. The same shit they blew off the different monuments. They blew that shit off and then they ridiculed it so bad that you hate it yourself. You don't even like yours. And so I'm going to leave you with this note that you can come up out of it. It's easy to break his spell. But the part that's hard to do is to do the magic to break his spell. So what's the first magical equation that you should use? Try that 3-day fast and then go right into I'm not fucking with no grain, starch, soy, dairy, sugar. If I eat animals, I'm going to go right to Deuteronomy and Leviticus and only eat the way they said eat animals. And then if I want to advance that, I will use Genesis and go into a full plant-based diet. Now, if you're in the old side and you're still going to go with the Deuteronomy and Leviticus, you're going to still need to make sure that's organic meat. Because if it's not, it's going to be, if it ain't organic, it's going to have something else with it. Something that the devil wanted to put with it. Now, they'll say, oh, but it could still have something with the devil, even if it's organic. That's a fact. It could. But if it does, then it's not organic. See, automatically when the devil taints it, it ain't organic. So you just got tricked and bought some shit that they said was organic that ain't organic. So you just have to know that it has to be organic. So the lessons tells us that we couldn't get caught in that trick. Only you can get caught in that trick is if you waiting on outsiders to help you. So we have spots for the outsiders that we trust to do it because they eat it. That they do it too. The paleo people eat that way. They don't do the other one. They're the Europeans. They're a European organization. So you got to know which Europeans to fuck with. Like they say in the streets. That's what they say. I didn't make that term up. They go, I F with you, right? And so, you know that ain't my era. And so, I said that to say, like my man would say, I said that to say that when you get to the point where you understand that Elijah and Noble and WD and Marcus and Medgar and these kind of people, right? They would never have said, if you said, I want to eat food that I grow. If I have animals, I want them to be the animals on my farm that I took care of, that I know what they're doing. You want to be at that level. And that's not hard. You could do that in one little square, which it's easy to do if you listen to a law and you got a trade and a profession. Because you could go to the next level. Because you got a trade and a profession, you are self-sufficient. So he's making each one of you an individual universe that way. Now, all of us who have trades and professions, we come together. That's how you make communities and this, that, and the third, and right? So that's what I'm saying. That's the change. And every time we do that, because don't think we haven't already done this numerous times after 1865. We did it plenty. But he always comes along and destroys it, and we have to start all over and act like, and he destroys it so well and does so much damage that we don't even know that we did it before. Like us nowadays, we never did it, and we don't have a connection to those who did it because he destroyed the connection between the 60s, 70s. By the time the 80s came with the crack, and it was relentless. Every 10 decades, he was banging you in the head hard. Killed you in the 60s like a motherfucker. Excuse my language. And he went crazy on you in the 70s. Crazier than he did in the 80s. You just didn't know it. And then he went mad on you in the 80s. Then he just was going bananas on you in the 90s. He didn't really break it off on you until 2000s. Because even in the 90s, you hear even the West Coast hip-hop and all that, you hear it still revolutionary. The revolutionary, right? Bob Marley. So, I got a break because I really need to go to Charlotte today and do some Wing Chun and see my seafood and my Qigong. It is my other Wing Chun family. I got to get to see them and things like that, right? And so my 5% family, the 5%, right, who know and understand the true and living God, do not believe in the teachers of the 10%. I'm talking to us, right? We don't believe in the teachers of the 10%. And we love our 85 brothers with lamb's wool and sisters. We love them, but we separate ourselves not intentionally. It's just that when it's time to go eat, it's hard to eat with the unconscious because of what they want to eat. It's abomination food at the table. They could easily eat non-abomination food at the table with you, but you can't eat abomination food at the table with them. See what I'm saying? You could be a whole plant-based at that level. They could be Deuteronomy and Leviticus, and you could still coexist easy because it ain't against the rule and regulations that are being made manifest. But they want to stay all the way over with the European. They don't give. And so that causes the separation, right? So we'll all be working on it, ain't we? Even on our own self. We try to keep those parasites out of our, and those parasites that are on the physical level and the mental level that make you, when you ask for sugar, you don't go and get an apple or something like that. You might go get cheese and don't know that's what it's calling for sugar, because if cheese is going to turn into sugar, the tomato paste and on those pizzas is going to either be sugar or just fuel for the fire. That dough is definitely going into fuel for the fire and sugar and fuel for the fire, because some of it can't even be processed. So maybe your body could burn it off if you don't eat a lot of food. But if you eat a lot of food, it's just going to store it all because it really doesn't know what it is. And then you're going to get lipomas eventually and tags and this and that and Organs are going to start failing. You just don't know they're failing at that minute level. Before you know it, you got hypertension and diabetes and it's on and popping. Brow. So that's why I was trying to tell y'all what I was telling you. But the striving, see, that's trying because we are failing with the regular people that's around us right now. Mostly everybody I know that I'm around a lot. Maybe 5% of them eating right and exact. Everybody else is just winging it and praying it. And because we can see the deterioration coming, but what can I do? They don't want to do it, and they still good people, so I hang out anyway with them. They doing what they doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing. I try to have as much influence as I can, which you're going to do the same thing. You're going to strive to have as much influence as you can on people who you associate with, and then they're going to try and have more influence. And it's going to be harder on your family to try to have influence on them. But if your economics is at another level, like trade or profession type level, you have a chance of controlling the cipher much better because you're economically feasible. And people in this modern world don't listen to you when you broke, especially if you're a man. And let's keep it real, Lord. The only way we getting out of this shit is if the Asiatic man in the wilderness of North America with lamb's wool to come together and do what we do, and the Asiatic man in I want to say in the continent of what they call today Africa, if they get their coming together and we get ours here from Alaska to Chile, the lamb's wool, if we do it and we at the head be the head, we could do it. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to take arms up. You don't got to attack. You don't got to do shit. If tomorrow, 17 million of us in the wilderness of North America just did a 3-day fast, it would change the planet. It would fucking change everything. That 3-day fast would change the economics in your whole community. Everybody did a 3-day fast because now you ain't eating. That's definitely going to change shit. Boy, you don't know how much they rely on you spending money on food. Your money changes when you eat one meal a day. When you eating right and exact, you don't need as much. They'll make it more expensive. Yes, I'm going to say they're going to do it, but pound for pound, you're going to get more out of it. You're not going to even be neat. You're still going to outmatch the other ones. They're going to spend less than you and think they got more. But it's going to be like you bought some supersonic chronic that it takes one pull for 3 days. Because you could get to the level where you only need one meal every 3 days, one meal every 2 days, shit like that you could be doing. Running all that poison out of you. Once all the poison is gone, then you rebuild the structure. Now you can start eating like you want to eat, lifting iron, doing Wing Chun, boxing, any kind of combat sport or any kind of sport that's rigorous like football, basketball, that kind of, and not that, I was going to say that Power U football they be playing now and that Power U basketball they play. In my days, we didn't play that soft. If they went to the hoop, they went. You know what I'm saying? You got to be playing. You got to have that kind of aggressive ability with your physical composition, right? Now I'm telling you, Lord, all us in my world that's at my level of age group, I guarantee you, right, that if you said, okay, because we already doing the eating part right and exact as far as no swine, all that, right? We know about no collard greens and all that, right? Made me think of Father Divine when he said, talking about that. He was talking to the earth and she didn't know it. And he said, wait, let me talk to the God. And the God, he told the God and the God explained it to her. So I was saying that to say that, in Message to the Black Man, it tells you, Message to the Black Man do tell you now, so, but in How to Eat to Live, book 1 and book 2, it tells you about the food that's on the farm that is for the farm animals. And since they consider us livestock, they fed us that. That's why you ate collard greens, mustard greens, kale, and all that old crazy hard ass instead of the other nice leafy vegetables that grow close to the ground. There's plenty of them that's right and exact. You do your little research. You could start off with spinach and the romaines. Now, if you had your own farm, you could even go with the icebergs and all of them because they'll be like milk. When you doing it on the farm and you watch the flower when it blooms and you take those, when you cut those, they don't look like the ones in Ideal and all them regular stores. They don't look like that. Even the Whole Foods and all them can't match if you was growing the food in your yard with the real right and exact soil and not just dirt. It would change everything. You can even do it in your house because they got shit on Amazon. I saw you could grow your microgreens and all that shit in your house. You could change the whole dynamics of the money that's being made manifest. Oh, and another thing I want to say, will y'all stop wearing, I understand the new generation like to dress different than us, but all that high water looking like Pee Wee Herman, that shit is gay. You can say what you want to say. So if you're not gay, you shouldn't dress gay. That's like misrepresentation. Is that what it's called? Because you dressing like you gay, but you straight. So the straight dudes and straight chicks don't know if you gay or not because you dress gay. And then the gay people think you with them and you ain't. So you perping the fraud. You a perpetuate. Instead of being you a perpetude. You perping. Like what's his name? It was Bun B and C somebody. Yeah, y'all know. Put it in there. Say, write it down. Say it was see somebody. He was like, and I'm gonna get a substitute. Yeah, that was funny too. He was killing me with that. But that's what I'm saying. You see, when you look at Eric B and Rakim, that's a combination of 85 and 5%. We could work with them easier than they can work with us because we could come to their side. They don't want to come to our side to defeat the devil. But when they do, it's beautiful, right? Eric B. Rakim, that combination, you telling me that wasn't fire? Look at the Wu-Tang. All of the whole Wu-Tang don't quote the lessons. They are different stuff together. But they're powerful. The foundation is knowledge of self. But everybody ain't on that level. Like some of them are. Some of them are way up, some of them are not. That's how it be. Some people know it way up because that's what their aptitude is. And some people more physical than they are mental. Some people are more mental than physical. Some people are right in the middle. They do martial arts and they study high science. They'll do both, right? And they'll be rapping and there'll be poetry and there'll be philosophy and they'll deal with metaphysics and they'll deal with anatomy and physiology on both levels as far as understanding what it does and also how you eat to do it, because they'll be trying to build muscle and because they won't be at the fixing my body, fixing my organs. They won't be repairing their organs. They would have already eaten right and exact for long enough that the organs have already repaired themselves, and now they done lost all that body fat that they lost, and a lot of that muscle mass is going to leave too, because it's tainted muscle mass. Your body's going to get rid of it if it didn't build it off the right and exact shit, if you switch over to the right and exact dietary law. And so what it'll do is it'll start purging everything. And then finally, the building structure will be gutted. You'll just have pretty much the foundation, the steel or the bone. And so even the bone marrow will start repairing itself. And once the organs in the bone marrow is repairing, now you move to that next level. And you say, all right, now I could add quinoa. I could add wild rice. I could add my navy beans. I could add my black beans. You see what I'm saying? Now you can start getting that poundage on. You know, you're going to start doing that. You're going to add maca, all three kinds. You know, you're going to do that. You're going to have your cocoa and you're going to have cocoa. The both of them, the cocoa one and the other one, the bitter one. You're going to have them both, right? You all know that. Put them down in there so they'll know what I'm talking about. Put both of those, because there's two of them, right? Both chocolates, the real chocolates that really is Africa, them. Because they not getting that from nowhere else. They getting it from Africa, and then they go sending the raw materials to Europe, and then they truth and falsehood strangely mix. I keep telling you that's how it's going down. And so we know the magic of what they're doing. They're using magic. We got to use magic. It's the three hits, right? You got your how you see the sun, moon, and stars. That's one level. That's that side. How you see the earth, the whole earth, everything from one cell animal to you. How y'all are all down together. It's all of y'all together on her, right? Everybody serves their purpose from the microscopic to the now, right? From the in-between people are the insects. The insects are the in-between people, in between us and the microscopic world. And we be disrespecting them. Like, because you can't hear them yell, you just do anything you want to them. Because you can't hear the trees and the plants and all of them yell, you just kill anything you feel like killing, like it's all good. That's what I'm talking about. That's narcissistic. You got a narcissistic attitude when you do things like that. If you don't have any empathy for the planet and its people, and that's just people from microscopic to where we're at, you think that you the high one. That's why they say shit like, the whole culture says stupid shit. He's at the top of the food chain because he's a lion. No, it's the circle of life. They try to make it like a line. Don't believe the line. Believe the circle. All right? Divine understanding, born of law. You know how we do it. Give you that knowledge of self. Set the record straight. Peace.